Okay, so welcome again. This is our crash course on Excel. We start with getting a text file and importing it into Excel. And then after that, doing some analysis with that in Excel. Okay, so for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and close this window. Okay. So as I mentioned, if you want to download this file, this is just a text file. It's not an Excel file or anything. Okay. If you want to download this file, you can go ahead and use either this short URL or this QR code. Okay. Either of the two will take you to this file. You have, all of you have Wi-Fi or some of you don't? Okay. You don't? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Every time I try to go in, it keeps telling me keep down.
How many of you are able to browse the web and get to this file? Okay, so yeah, please try working on that. And again, if you were not able to do it, recording of this is going to be available to you. So go ahead.
Can you show the link again?
Oh yeah, sure. Link is right here. So once you downloaded this file, just save it somewhere. It's a text file, as I mentioned. And then we are going to go ahead and get started with that text file and work on this. Let me know if you still need this QR code or the short URL. All good? Fantastic. Okay, so I can go ahead and close this down. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with a new spreadsheet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open a blank spreadsheet in Excel. It's jumping up and down. Fantastic. So now we want to go ahead and actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, we want to go ahead and import this text file that we have. Okay, how do we do that? We can go ahead and anybody can help me with. Go ahead.
Get go to data tab.
Uh-huh.
Get data.
Uh-huh.
Choose from PDF source.
Uh-huh. This is a text, by the way. Yeah, this is a comma sub. Yeah, it's a CSV file. Okay, so you can use that. I'm not sure if all versions of Excel have this, because this is a rather new method, but we can go ahead and use it. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Okay. And if anybody needs a plug and needs to charge their iPad computers, okay. So we can go ahead and do that. We can click on get data. Okay, this is basically a rather new feature. And when I say new, it means that it's like it's been around for like a 5 or 10 years, but it's not very classic Excel. Okay, so this is one way. We can go ahead and get data from Power Query, from another query editors, any SQL, or you can get it from text, from HTML, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is one way. Okay, you can get it from here. I'm going to go ahead and do it both ways. So you have, so this is one way to get it from here from text, or the most classic way basically is to go ahead and basically import the file. Okay, so you will get the file and import it here. Okay, so you'll import, and in the import you can say it's a CSV, it's a text, or it's a HTML. Okay, both of these are doing basically the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this method. Okay, so click here, click from text. Again, it basically does the same thing that we showed right now. Okay, and I have this file saved here. Okay, so this is car inventory raw, and it's a text file. Okay, so go ahead and get data from this, and it says that whether your file is the data in your file is delimited with a specific character, such as like space or comma or what. Okay, it is the case. And from the inspection that you have done on the file, what is the separator between different basically entries in our file? How our data is separated in that text file? Comma, fantastic. So it's a comma separated file or CSV, although it is a text file, but it's a CSV saved as a text file. So we can click on comma, and then you see that it basically understands that each of these are a different field and different records, basically. So I OK it away, and for now, I say that everything is general, and I will click on finish. It asks me where do we want to start this file. So I would say A1, go ahead and import it, and boom, you have your file. So first thing that we learned here is that we can get a text file, okay, or with this new get data that you have here. With this, you can import data from HTML, from PDF, even from images, from still images. It can extract data. It's not 100% accurate. You need to double check that, but there are different methods of basically getting data into Excel. Now that we have it in Excel here, we want to do some first data cleaning. So first we have imported our data. Now we want to do some data cleaning and extraction. And then after that, once we have done that, we are doing some synthesis of data. And then after that, we will do some analysis. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started first with the extraction of data. Okay, so we have something called car ID. Okay, take a guess. What is going on in this file? What is it? This car ID. For example, I have FD16MTG001. Take a guess. What is it? What's that? What kind of card is it? Fantastic. It's a Ford Mustang 2016. Okay, Ford 2016 Mustang, and 001 is basically the first car. This is the first car in this basically dealership or whatever it is. Okay, so this is basically the make of the car, the year of the car, model of the car, and that basically counter for that. Okay, so now we want to extract data from this code, from this car ID. Okay, we want first extract the make of this car. Okay, basically what we want to do is is it big enough? Everybody can see everything? Fantastic. So first thing that we want to do, we want to automatically get this FD out of this car ID. Okay, how do we do that? We start with an equal sign. Okay, equal sign always introduces a formula. Okay, so formulas can be like A1 plus A2, adding two things, dividing, subtraction, just simple arithmetic operations, or they can use a function. Okay, they can use a function. In this case, we are going to use a function that extracts the first two characters from this basically car ID. What is that? For those of you who know, don't be shy. Is left. Okay, so left, it basically says that, okay, I want the leftmost number, so two characters, three characters, and so on and so forth from this text extracted. Okay, so first, so you see that here I have a couple of things inside that parenthesis. So this left is my function, and what goes in each function has a argument. Argument goes inside the parentheses. Okay, so in the argument of this, first I need to enter the text. Okay, what is the text that I'm extracting data from? Okay, so and please stop me if you have any questions at any of these steps. Okay, so this is A2, so it means that I am extracting data from A2. Next thing it says, can you go ahead and read this? Unfortunately, when I magnify it, it doesn't magnify that part. There's just one thing that you need to enter after A2. It's the number of characters. Okay, so because it starts all the way from the left. Okay, so you need to tell Excel how many characters you want to extract. In this case, how many characters do we want to extract? 2. Fantastic. So it's going to be left, A2, and 2. That's it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and be done. You see that with this formula that I have here, FD, my basically the first two characters are extracted from this. Okay, now I want to copy it down. I want to do this for all these basically 51 or 52 cars. How do I do that? Multiple ways. I can just copy and paste, okay? So I can just right click and say copy and then go here and paste. I can use Command C and Command V, or if you're using a PC, Control C and Control V. Or easiest way, I can use this little fill handle, okay? So when I go on it, this cross that is white turns into a black cross, okay? When you hover on it, this is called fill handle. You can go ahead and drag it down, okay? So it will basically copy everything, or easier than that, you can just double click on it, okay? If you double click on it, it booms, goes all the way, and it basically understands where it should stop, okay? So the AI behind the scene basically tells Excel that, okay, this is where you end, and it ends everything there, okay? Any questions? Are you sure? Any repeat? I can spend a little more time on it if you want. What's that? For the IT, I guess we can do it after that because this video is going to be available to you. Yeah. So
Can you copy this down, or you can also copy it out, like double click and then one copy?
yeah, you can do that as well, but you need to drag it that way.
Or
Okay.
in that case, it's not double.
Well, double click basically takes a look at your spreadsheet and finds out that the most probably your data that you want to copy is, for example, in this column, okay? If your data is designed in a different way, that it's in a row and you want to copy it, basically, it's an AI behind the scene, okay? Says that, okay, yeah, most probably they want to copy this row or this column, okay? But if you want to do it manually, you should just do it manually, drag it to the right or left. Now, next thing that we want to do is we want to convert this FD to Ford, okay? We want to convert this GM to General Motors. We want to convert this TY to Toyota, and so on and so forth. For example, here we have Honda, we have Chrysler, we have Hyundai, and so on and so forth. How do we do that? We need to build a little table, okay, that says it works as a legend or as a key, basically. It says that, okay, FD is for Ford, okay, GM is for General Motors, and so on and so forth. And then tell Excel to go ahead and look at this column, okay, and look at that little key table and find out what is FD, what does FD stand for, and bring it and print it here, okay? Anybody knows what is the formula that we use here? Okay, the formula that we use is VLOOKUP, okay? So for VLOOKUP, in order to do that, we first need a little table, okay? So the little table that I mentioned that basically needs to say that, okay, this is Ford, this is GM, this is Chrysler, and so on and so forth. So we need to first build that, okay? So I need to have a little table here, okay, that, for example, says FR, and here says Ford, and so on and so forth. Okay? So how can I do that in an automatic way? First thing that I want to do is to extract all the unique values in this column, okay? So you see that in this column, I have a repeat of Hyundai, repeat of Chrysler, repeat of Honda, and so on and so forth. I don't want all of these. I want just one FD, just one GM, just one TO, and so on and so forth. How do I do that? I use the unique function, okay? So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I use the unique function, okay? And then what I will do, I will just go ahead and enter the data that I have here, okay? So I say that, okay, I want this whole column to be basically, this whole column to be scanned and unique values to be extracted from that, okay? So those other two arguments that are there by column and exactly once, you don't need to worry about those, okay? For the sake of this class, just unique and the whole range will do the job for us. Basically, we have a range. We want to extract unique values from this range. And again, please stop me if you have any questions. This is an array. Okay, so this is an array. And if I want to work with this, it's going to be a little problematic because basically when you are referring to it and so on and so forth, you should refer to the whole array. It's beyond the scope of our work. The long story short is that when I get these basically unique values, I'm just going to go ahead and get a copy of it, okay? Just the values, okay? So this is, as I mentioned, this is an array of data. It's a vector. I want to convert it into just 5 cells, okay? So how do I do that? I'm going to go ahead and copy this, okay? and paste it right here. Okay, when I say paste, I say paste special. Okay, and under paste special, I say only values. Okay, so I say I don't want the vector and other characteristics of this to be copied. Okay, so long story short, I just get this vector and convert it into real cells. Okay, now I need to this part cannot be done lazily. I need to do it manually, such as for I mean, computer and everything related to computer are for lazy people. We owe it all to lazy people who didn't want to do these things manually. Go ahead. Well, go ahead and do it somewhere else. Okay, so I guess if it does spell first time, that goblin still stays with Excel. Do it in another cell, okay, and then copy it back wherever you want. Okay.
Windows is.
Is it
Go ahead.
Google Docs for shipping?
No, it's not a Google. What's that?
What you need is
Continue QUE, and then open parentheses, enter your range, and give it a shot. Chrysler and Hyundai. Okay, so I have built a little table here. Okay, I built a little table. I'm gonna go ahead and question for me. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a border. Okay, so what I want to do is to tell Excel to go ahead and take a look at this table. Okay, and look up if you have FD, tell me give me 4. If you have GM, give me General Motors, and so on and so forth. One thing that is important here is that whenever you are using VLOOKUP, your table, your lookup table, should be alphabetized. Okay, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, so that's one of the peculiarities of this. Okay, so we want to alphabetize this. What we do, we just right click on it and click on sort. Okay, and sort A to Z. So now it is alphabetized. It starts with CR, FD, and so on and so forth. So for example, if I wanted to do sort on this array, I couldn't do that. That's why I copied it here. Okay, so now that I have my VLOOKUP table, okay, are you all following me? No? Question?
Just got past the skill.
Okay. Fantastic. So I just copied this, okay? Copied this and pasted values here, okay? So I have a copy of this. And then I just typed in, this is Chrysler, this is Ford, this is General Motors, and so on and so forth, okay? Now that I have done this, again, if you are falling behind, don't worry at all, okay? You can just skip some part of it and then follow the latest part, because this video is going to be always available to you. You can go ahead and pause it and rewind it and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and do the VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP, this is the function, and VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. What does it do? It looks for a specific value in a lookup table. Okay, so for now we are looking for FD. Okay, we're looking for the cell to the left. Okay, and first it says table array. Okay, so table array, what is it? It is basically the table that you have for lookup. Okay, so this is my table array. Okay, and then it says column index number. Okay, basically it wants, fantastic. It wants me to basically tell Excel which column you're looking for. Okay, so basically I'm telling Excel, go here, always look in the first column. Okay, VLOOKUP always looks in the first column. Okay, and from the second column, in this case, I just have 2 columns, so it's pretty straightforward. From the second column, find the corresponding value and print it up there. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be 2. Okay, and I close it down. What?
Oh, I just want to know if, when I did it, I put a $sign before the B on the.
Fantastic. But that's basically the next part. I just wanted to give a little surprise and then introduce the $signs. Okay, so let's go ahead and see why do we need $signs? Why this is not complete? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So for now it works. For Ford, it works. But now I'm gonna go ahead and copy it down. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy it down, for example, up to here, and you see that it gives me not applicable, not applicable, not applicable, and so on and so forth. What's happening? When I'm copying this down, everything moves down. Everything moves down with this formula. It's a dynamic, basically, cell reference, okay? So FD goes down, which is good. Okay, but this also goes down. See that this window that I'm looking up from, that also changes, shifts. I don't want that. I don't want that basically a lookup window to shift. So what do? Fantastic. Very good. You put a dollar sign. So instead of D65, you say $D $65. Instead of D60, you say $D $60. Okay. There's a keyboard shortcut for that. You can hit F4 on your machine, and it basically takes care of that for you. Okay. So you hit F4 on here, and it takes care of it. So it has all the dollar signs now. Okay.
Excel.
What's that?
Excel has.
Yeah, it is, and it's getting better every year, actually. So now that I have the formula with the dollar sign, I can go ahead and copy it down, and I can copy it down actually all the way, okay, all the way to here. So now I have my actual names. I know that this car ID is a Ford, this car ID is a General Motors, and so on and so forth. Now, help me with the next part. I want to find the model, okay?
So are you gonna fill out the model, or you just want the text?
First we extract the text, and then we use VLOOKUP to do the same thing.
So you use equal bit.
Fantastic, fantastic. So remember, the formula that we used here was left, okay? So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and use mid, okay? So we have left, we have mid, and we have right, okay? So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and use mid, as our colleague mentioned, and the text, again, is gonna be this text that I'm using, okay? And then I need to enter another thing here, okay? So left always starts from the leftmost character, okay? But mid needs to start somewhere, okay? So we need to tell Excel at what character you want to take that middle value. So at what character do we want to take it? Fifth character. Fantastic. So it's a fifth character. And then it says that number of characters, how many characters you want to extract. Fantastic. Are you sure two? It's three. So MTG, and so FCS, and so on and so forth. So I need to extract three. So from character number 5, extract character number 5, 6, and 7. Okay. That closed down. Everything is good here. Do I need to change anything? Any dollar signs or anything? Okay.
You put the dollar sign in front of.
Well, if I put the dollar sign, it always looks at this cell, okay? But I wanted this to change. When I go down, I want this to look at A3. I want this to look at A4, and so on and so forth, okay? So it's not a VLOOKUP table that I want to lock. So this is good. I'm going to go ahead and copy it down. So I have all my basically 3 character for model. And then for model full name, I can go ahead and do the same thing that I did here for the makes. Okay, so I can just go ahead and extract these unique values of ELA, CAR, and whatever. Okay, and then build a little table here and do the VLOOKUP. This is going to be exactly the same thing that we just did. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this part for the sake of time. We're running out of time, unfortunately. Okay, so this model is going to be exactly the same thing that we did in the make full name. Okay, now let's do the manufactured year. Okay, when this car has been manufactured. How can I extract that?
The same thing, except with the bar there's 2 left. You do left 4, like the third character.
So the function that I'm going to use is going to be, again, mid, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and use mid, and this is going to be the text that I want to extract the middle values from. The start number, what character do I start on? 3, fantastic. And how many characters do I go? Fantastic, okay? So that's it. It extracts 16. So this is basically my 2016, 2018, all the way down, okay? So that is that. Now I want to get the age of this car. Okay. So this part is a rather interesting part. Please pay a little more attention. This part gets a little interesting. So I want to get the age of this car. What is the age of this car? This first car is 8 years old. What's that? No, this car is 2016. Okay, so it's 8 years old. Okay, so how can I automate this? How can I find out if each of these cars are how many years old? Equal sign. So what's that?
We use it like equal date minus like manufacturing,
So equal date
or like, yeah, there's a value
for today's value. Fantastic. So one way, an easy way and lazy way basically to do it, you can just say 24 and minus that. Okay, so we say 24 minus this guy, and it will give us the value. What is wrong with this? If I open this spreadsheet next year, it is wrong. Okay, so what I need to do instead of 24, I need to get a today's date. Okay, today's date in year. Okay, so what is today's date? Take a guess. And the function for today's date. Take a guess. It is today. Okay. Okay. It's today. Okay. So today basically brings back today. Okay. However, if I do that, it's gonna be a little problematic. The age is gonna be 8/8/24, which is nonsense. Okay. Today is gonna be a today date. Okay. So 20, what is it? 24th of August, 2024. Okay. I want only year part of today. Okay. I want to find out what is this year. Okay. So in order to do that, I need to go ahead and do a little jugglery here, basically. So if I go ahead and put a comma after this, and then a quotation mark, and then say y. Okay. So this is year. Okay. So 95, 96, all the way 0, 1, and so on and so forth. Okay. And in order to do that, I need to wrap it around another function. Okay. And that function is text. Okay. So let me go ahead and do that and explain it to you. So what I'm going to do here. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I wrap text, wrap today around text, okay, and then say that, okay, I want this to be only year, okay. So y. Okay. So text today, comma, minus f2. That should give me the actual value. I don't want a date here. I want a general. So you see that it gives me 8 years. Okay, so what's happening here? I am basically using nested functions. Okay, so my original function, my main function is today. Okay, so today should work. But since my date, my manufacturer date is just a year with 2 characters, I need to change it to just 2 characters. So what I will do, I will convert this to a text, okay, and only take the 2 years out of it, 2 characters for year out of it. Okay, so I'm wrapping today inside text. This is called, what is, I just said it, nested functions. Okay, so I'm nesting today inside a text. Okay, and that y, comma y is basically part of the function for text. Okay, does that make sense? Or do we want to explain it further? Okay, fantastic. So when I do that, it calculates the date for me, and I can copy it down. Okay, so I copied it down. I don't need these values. Go ahead and get rid of those. But there are some problems here. What's going on? I have some errors here, and here. Let's see if you can find out what is wrong.
that is O to 0.
Fantastic. Okay. Can you explain it again for class?
Characters are the O is not going to register as a number.
Fantastic. So someone was entering data, and instead of 08, they put 08. Okay. And this is not a, so when you are cleaning data, usually this happens a lot. Okay. So this is an instance of data cleaning. Okay. So basically what we need to do, we need to fix this guy. Okay. Fix the original thing. And rather than put a 0. You see now it is fixed and it shows 60. Same thing here. You see that instead of 10, 10, instead of 10, 10 has been entered. So I'm going to go ahead and change that as well. It fixes that. There's another thing here that's also a 09, okay? So instead of 09, it was 09. I'm going to go ahead and fix that as well. And I'm all good, okay? So I have all the ages. So far, so good. Any questions? Lovely. Now, next thing that I want to do is to find out the miles per year, okay? So miles per year, this is the number of miles this car driven, and this is the age. So we want to find out the miles per year, okay? So tell me, this formula should be easy. Fantastic. So I get here H2 and divide it by G2, okay? So basically the miles divided by the age. Okay, this gives me the average annual mileage of this car. So far, so good. Following me? This part is a little important, although it sounds at the beginning very rudimentary, but it gets really, really interesting. Okay, so bear with me for a second. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and copy it down. Okay, copy it down all the way. Let's get rid of these values. And then you see that a number of decimals is rather funky. It's basically all over the place. So what I will do, I'm going to go ahead and change the number of decimals to 0, 1, or 2. How can I do that? Decimals are all here, okay? So if I want to change the number of decimals, I can go ahead and use these two little buttons here, okay? So in this case, I want to reduce the number of decimals. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce them. And for now, let's go ahead and just get rid of all the decimals, okay? You don't really need decimals for this type of calculations, okay? So far, so good. It's just a division, and we reduce the number of decimals. Let me put this on do not disturb. Fantastic, okay. So now, let's take a look at this and see what has happened here. So you see that I have 2 division by zeros. Okay, what's going on? And everything else is good though. So what can I do here? The car is 2024, okay? But it has been driven 13,000 miles, okay? The other car is 24 as well, but it has been driven 60,000 miles, okay? So I cannot say that it's just 0. What can I say? Can I divide it by 1? What should I say? If, okay.
Less than 1.
Uh-huh.
Divide.
Divide by 1. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, we can put this if in all of these. Okay, and this if will take care of everything. Okay, I will introduce another if. So you covered the if function, but for this we can do it much easier thing. Okay, when I say that this car is 2024, what does it mean? Does it mean it's exactly 0 years old? It's like that month. Yeah. So for example, it has been like 5 months around, 6 months around, or maybe it has been released in 2023 actually. Okay, so it has been around for 8 months. So I can do a little compromise here and say that all of these, instead of dividing them by G2, I just divide them by G2 plus 0.5. Okay. So if the car is 8 years old, I say it is 8.5 years old. Okay. Most probably, I'm correct in the ballpark. Okay. An 8-year-old car is definitely not exactly 8 years old. Okay. So that's a compromise that I can do without using f function or anything. I can go ahead and take care of it this way. Okay. I can just add a 0.5 here. Okay. And then I will copy it down. You see that all those are now taken care of. Okay. Again, you're right. I could have used f function as well, but let's save f for another instance. Okay. So we have taken care of that. And now, next thing that we need to do is to find out if this car is covered or not. Okay. So what's going on here? You see that, for example, 50,000 mile has been warranted for this driver, and this driver has driven 40,000 miles. So are they still covered? Yes. Okay. So this car is still covered and so on and so forth. So here we want to make it automatic. We want to do a logical test. And then that logical test will tell us if this is covered or not. Tell me, what should I do? Use an if function, okay? And what is the logical test? So first thing that goes into if function is a logical test, okay? And then after comma, the value if true, after comma, value if false, okay? So logical test, what is my logical test? I want to see if this guy is less than this guy, okay? So if it is true, I want to say covered. Fantastic. Okay, so I can say yes, I can say covered, I can say okay, but be careful. Whenever I'm typing something in Excel inside the formula, I have to put it in quotation marks. Okay, so when I use quotation marks, I'm telling Excel, okay, don't worry about this. This is not a formula or anything. It's just a text. It's just a label. Okay, and then if not, I will say not covered. Okay, so this is basically the quotation marks. Any questions on this F formula? Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that as well all the way. And you see that there are some covered. Most of them are covered. Some are not covered. So now, next thing that we want to do is we want to build something. We want to synthesize something out of what we have done. Okay. So we want to create a new car ID. Okay. And in this case, I want to include color as well. Okay. So my new car ID, I want it to be make, year, model, and then color, and then counter. Okay. So you see that, remember, this one was make, year, model, and a counter. I want to add a color between the model and the counter. Okay. How can I do that? Any guesses, any thoughts? So this part is going to be a little interesting, although it's not a big deal, but it's going to be a little interesting. First thing that I want to do, logically speaking, what I want to do, I want to get this value, okay, and put next to it this value, put next to it this value, and then put next to it where's the color? Right here, this value, and then I want to put the basically the counter, the three last values. Okay, so basically I want to get values from different cells and put them all together. Okay, in computer language in general, if you want to put strings or characters together, we use concatenate function. Okay, so concatenate is the function that we're going to go ahead and use. So in the legacy format, you have to type in the concatenate all the way. In the new, again, new, when I say it means like 5-10 years from now, before. So you can use concat, okay? So concat, and then you can enter the basically cells that you want to put together, okay? So first cell that I want to put here is B2, okay? Then I want to put, let's see, where do I want the color? Okay, make year. Okay, then I want year. Okay, that's going to be this guy. And then I want model. So it's going to be this guy. And then I want color, which is this guy. Okay. And then I want the counter. Okay. So, but now here, you see that everything has been abbreviated here. But for the color, I also want to abbreviate that. I want to get the first two characters, okay? Instead of black, I will say BL. Instead of white, I will say WH. Instead of green, I will say GR. What should I do? You should be able to tell me now. Fantastic. I will do a left of the color, okay? How many characters? 2, okay? That will take care of it. And then finally, I want the counter. How can I get the counter out? This 001, 002, and so on. Fantastic. So I will do it right here. Okay. So I will do a right of this value. Okay. And I get 3 characters. So far, so good. Okay. All good on this formula? Are you sure? Okay. So let's go ahead and take care of it. Everything's good here? Anything wrong with this car ID? Do we have the BL?
No.
And the L is lowercase. Do you want lowercase? It's like a VIN number or something. I want everything to be uppercase, okay? So how can I take care of that? It's easy. I can just get this left function, okay? And nest it inside another function called upper, okay? So I say upper, okay? And put that left inside that, okay? So now you see that my BL is all uppercase, okay? So if you want to take a look at the full formula, this is the full formula, okay? Now I created another. So basically what we did here, again, this is a crash course, so don't expect to be the full course, okay? We don't have an Excel class. No, unfortunately not, yeah. So we have imported data, we clean data, okay? We analyze data, we basically extracted different pieces out of it, and we synthesized new data based on that, okay? So this is it. Let's go ahead and copy this down all the way. And I don't need these guys. And I'm done here. Okay, so I'm done. Technically speaking, I am done with this basically tape. But now let's go ahead and do a little analysis of this tape. Okay, let's take a look at this. See if I want to get the mileage that each driver has driven. Okay, so for example, I have Smith, I have McCall, I have Lyon, or Leon, or Jones and Smith, and so on and so forth. I want to know how many miles they have driven. Okay, I can use this, but there's a problem here. So for example, if I want to see how many miles a Smith has driven, I cannot just say that they have driven 40,300 whatever miles, because there's another Smith here. There's another Smith here, and so on and so forth. This table is based on cars, not based on drivers. Okay, so I want to rearrange this table to get another table out of it that says how many miles each driver has driven, basically. Okay, it's a daunting task if you want to do it manually. However, Excel can do it very easily for us. Okay, what we will do, we'll go ahead and click on Insert. Okay, and the very first option that we have is Pivot Table. Okay, so what are we doing? We are on the Insert tab, okay? And we are clicking on Pivot Table, okay? So let's click on Pivot Table. First, it says that select the table or range, okay? Where is your data? Okay, tell me where is your whole data. Okay, usually it basically automatically detects it. Let's see if it is correct. It has detected too much, basically. So we want to change that. Instead of going all the way to row 66, we want to stop at row 53, okay? So we stop at row 53, okay? And this is going to be my basically data set, okay? So first thing that I just need to say is it is my data set, or I can use an external. This is beyond the scope of our work. I can do it in a new worksheet or here in this existing worksheet. In this case, I will do it in a new worksheet, okay? So for now, I haven't done anything. I just said, okay, build a pivot table for me. And this is your material. This is your database. This is your data. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And it gives me just this unfamiliar window. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what it can do for us. Okay, again, pivot table is very versatile and very strong, but what we will do here is going to be very rudimentary. So remember what we wanted to see? We wanted to see how many miles each driver has driven. Okay, I get the driver. See here, I have all the fields of my table. Okay, car ID, make, model, and so on and so forth. This table that I had, I have all the fields here. Okay, I want to get the driver. Okay, and drop it here in the rows. And then here, get the miles and drop it here in the columns. Okay, so I don't need just two of them. And voila, see that I have a table just by 2 clicks. Okay, from that table, it extracts that Smith has driven such and such number of miles, Santos has driven this such and such number of miles, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is one of the most, as I mentioned, versatile tools for analyzing your data. Okay,
Sure.
go ahead.
I see that at this point, they only have one Smith. Can they convert them?
Yes, yeah, they
All the Smith.
combine them together. Yeah, that's the beauty of pivot table. Basically, does the analysis, all the behind the scene for you. You just tell that I want this report out of that data set.
But it combined, what if they were all different Smith, Bob Smith, Joe Smith?
No, they are all the same. We assume that they are all the same. Yeah. We assume
Assume
that it's Smith all same Smith. Yeah. Okay. So this is a basically, as I said, basic pivot table. What I can do, I can insert a pivot chart as well. Okay, so under pivot table analysis, you can go ahead and enter a pivot chart. Okay, so pivot chart is right here. I can click on that. Okay, and you see that it gives me a chart for all of these drivers, and so it's basically a bar chart of all these drivers and how many miles they have driven. Okay, so for example, you can go ahead and change the design of this. I believe you are all familiar with all of this, and say that, okay, you see that now I know that Smith has driven the most number of miles, and so on and so forth. So you can analyze your data both in tabular and in graphical visualized way. Now, next thing, I mean, we are rather running out of time real quick, but what I want to do is to do one more thing before we finish this, okay? 2 more things, actually, I want to do. One is conditional formatting, and the other one is a scatter plot, okay? So this is the number of miles that has been driven. I want to visually be able to see which value is the highest value, which value is the lowest value. Okay, for this, I can go ahead and click on conditional formatting. Okay, and when I do that, I can give it gives me different basically methods. For example, I can go get a color scale, and this is going to be my color scale. You see that the highest values are now, lowest values are in red, and the highest values are in yellow. Okay, so it gives me a little heat map visualizing this. Okay, and then let's finalize this with building a little scatter plot. Okay, so this scatter plot that I want to build is basically a relationship between age and the number of miles per year, or number of miles. Okay, so this is age and this is number of miles. Okay, I get these 2 columns, highlight these 2 columns, and they'll go to insert. And here I have different types of charts. Okay, so the one that I want to use is XY scatter. Okay, so I click on XY scatter and just select the very first one. Doesn't really matter. Okay, see that it gives me a graph that shows the relationship between these 2 variables, so to speak. Okay, so if I go ahead and change it a little bit, you see that it also gives me even the regression data of this. So basically, if I want to, you see that here it shows that there is a one-to-one positive relationship between the number of years and miles. So the more the age of the car, the more miles they have been driven. And then based on that formula that you have on the top, you can predict. You can predict that, okay, if a car is like 20 years old, most probably it will be driven this much, and so on. So this is a regression analysis. Again, we are right at 2, and I know that this was rather rushed. It was a crash course. I wanted to bring you up to speed. The recording is going to be available to you. Please go ahead and review it. And if you need any help, send me an email. I will be happy to have an office hour with you, or send you a video recording, or basically work with you with other material and anything. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And I need to leave room for Julia. She's gonna talk to you about some resources that are